Hi, Wilbur. Welcome to the show, the another episode of Explore Sports Management. It's great to have you. Just to introduce you briefly for the people who are watching. Wilbur, he is a player relation manager or sports agent, as some people might call him. He's been currently associated with Inventive Sports UK, and he has been working in the Indian football industry for quite some years, and he has represented. Quite number of elite football athletes in Indian football from teams like Chennai NFC and Kerala Blasters. So welcome, Wilbur. Thank you for joining in.
It's my pleasure, Shaurya. Thanks for having me.
So just to start off this conversation, we'd like to know little bit more about you, like your journey and how did you started your journey and ended up becoming a sports agent and into the football industry. So can you share a little bit about that? Like how did you just basically started your journey into this field?
Definitely, yes. The journey has not been easy. It's been something that I always wanted to do in life. Okay, starting from playing football at a very early age, during school and college days, to going on and playing for a few clubs in Mumbai across the first division and the super division. There was always passion that was instilled in me, right? And there was always something that I wanted to do, that I wanted to be associated with sports, and I wanted to live, because that was something that I breathed, and that was something that I always wanted to live about. Okay, so it was very after completing my studies, like after completing my HSC, I was pursuing my college and simultaneously working as well at a few companies like Serco and Tech Mahindra back then. And fortunately, I was introduced to one of a very good friend of mine. Okay, and who was just talking about sports and sports management, and about building a career around sports. So that did interest me at that point of time. Okay, at that point of time, it did give me certain amount of interest, where I was talking to him, and we were just going across topics, talking about a few things here and there, and he introduced me to another friend of mine. Okay, and that's how we got in contact. We started speaking, and he did introduce himself to me. Did say that I do a few things here and there. After that, many of you may not believe, but then I've been very good friends with a lot of Indian pros and a lot of ex-India internationals. One of them is Stephen Dias. So I did speak to Stephen, and if I'm to say something, today, if I've come this far, it's because of the two piece of advice that Stephen did give me back then. Okay, yes, he's known as the Indian Beckham. He's known for whatever he's done for the country and for so many clubs across his illustrious career. Being grateful, to have been great friends with Stephen, and the two piece of advice that he did give me back then did, probably tell me what I actually wanted to do, how I should do. Maybe just pave the road for me at that certain point of time. So yes, when I spoke to Stephen, I did tell him, about my thoughts. So he already knew me, because I play a lot of five-a-sides, and I used to play a lot of tournaments, etc., across Mumbai, and then play for corporate tournaments, etc., etc. So Stephen did knew what I am all about, how passionate I am, and how I am associated, and how I'm associated with the game, and how I do live the game. Thankfully, I've been associated with the game and everything. When I had a chat with Stephen did just say two things to me. Well, see, first thing is, coming into the sports and media industry, it's not an easy industry to live in. It's not an easy industry to survive in. Okay, it's going to be tough. There are going to be good days. There are going to be bad days. And if you really want to survive through this industry, you got to be very thick skinned, very thick skinned. So because when I say there will be good days, there will be bad days, and everything in between, you have to go through it, and you know you have to see the next day. That's number one. Number two, what he said to me was, Wilbur, this industry again, is not, as he said, coming relating to point number one, as the industry is not an easy industry to live in. Honesty matters a lot. You got to be very honest in this industry, because even one piece of lie, even if one party is dishonest, okay, it can all turn out to be a very dirty business. Because over here, you're going to be a representative that is representing the player. Okay, you're going to be a mediator that is going to be a link between the player and the club and the management, whatever. Okay, so you are going to be speaking to either of the parties. Like, say for example, when I'm going and speaking to the club, the club tells me about the interest, the offer, what plans they have. I have to go and relay the same thing to my player. Now, if in case I am not going to be honest and not relay the exact information, it's going to be a very dirty business. There's going to be trust issues from either party. Now, when maybe that would not come out immediately, but after some time, maybe a month to nothing stays inside the blanket. It would come out eventually at one point of day. And when that happens, it could end up a dirty business. That's one thing that he said to me. And uh, along with that point, he also said, when you're working, you got to be working for your player. Okay, because he is your client, he is your representative. You are his representative. You got to be working, and you got to be giving your everything to him. Now, he also mentioned this to him. You even it's not important. It's not important for you to have hundreds of clients. It's not important for you to have 50 clients. It's fine. It's fine if you even have 5 clients, or even if you have 10 clients. But ensure that you're giving your 100% to them, giving your everything, doing good for them. And when you do that, okay, when you do that, what will happen is, these clients will be satisfied. These clients will be happy, and they will continue to stay in the journey with you, be a part of your history, for a very long time. They will not leave you. Okay, and this next thing that happens with that is, these same clients, they are teammates. They play in several clubs. They play in the national team. They keep on talking to each other in their network, and that's when you have a name for yourself. And I'll be honest with you, okay. After all that happened, then I joined the certain friend of mine that I was introduced to. I joined. I was with him. I started learning a little bit about the business for a couple of months, and eventually during the ISL draft, season 4, the Indian Super League drafts that happened, I was introduced to Baljeet. Okay, and that's when we started speaking. We started speaking for good, I think, 2-3 months. Started off with a LinkedIn message, obviously, because I didn't have his number or anything. We just came across each other, started speaking, messaging, we exchanged numbers, followed each other on social media. I was just going through his work. Oh my God, by then he was already representing clients like Michael Chopra, Steve Coppell, Ian Hume. And I could see, he was associated with the Asian Football Awards, the Asian Cricket Awards, etc. He was doing a lot good in football, not just. What I seen was missing is, he was doing everything internationally. He was with international clients, and when we did click and we did have a conversation, okay, he did mention to me about one thing, that he's associated, he has this Indian roots, everything, he wants to do something in Indian football. He always wanted to do, but he was just not sure, when to step in, how to step in, and with which Indian players to go about with. So thankfully, I came in. I came in over there, and I mentioned to him, what I could do, what I could bring to the table. We started discussing a few things here and there about how we could take Inventive Sports to a different level, about how we could go on to be representing several clients, several Indian clients who would go on to make a name for themselves, etc. See these players grow. Uh, Along with that, we got to ourselves be patient with the process, okay, because nothing happens overnight. Now these players, now if you look at a Sahal Abdul Samad and you say he's become a superstar. He didn't become a superstar overnight, okay. He took so much of time, so much of hard work, so much of patience with himself, so much of sacrifices, and so much of backing, support, patience, everything, with that. And that's how he's transformed to a person what he is right now. So we realized, actually, at that point of time, when we were discussing, we took a good amount of time to ourselves. We thought about what we actually wanted, and not just with international players, but also with several other players. Okay, that Indian players, young budding athletes, so on and so forth. So that's where we started. We started off, it started off with two piece of advice from Steven, going on to me discussing all of these with Baljeet, seeing what we actually wanted to do, and they say the rest is history. After that, the first deal that I was fortunate to be a part of, myself and Baljeet, was the IMG Reliance, with the IMG Reliance. That was for the Hero ISL ball. We got that done in the year 2018. So thankfully, to some of my contacts in the company at Nivea, and few contacts at Reliance, IMG back then. So we realized that the deal with Puma was just running out, and they were certainly looking at options. And I tried to study the process, try to study what exactly could be good, how, what, when, you know how could this be beneficial. And then I did a little bit of study, did a little bit of background check, etc., etc. Spoke to the people over there, and it was a lot of hard work. A lot of I had to travel 2 times to Punjab as well, Chandigarh, over there, to meet these guys, see what they are actually looking forward to do. And eventually, after a lot of hard work and hustle, we could get that beyond the line, and we could have facilitated the Hero High Still Ball deal with them. So that was one of the starting points. Then going on to having so many. We also were fortunate enough to have Shakil Abdullah from Kerala. He's one of our partners who operates from Kerala, very well known and a very big figure over there, a very well respected person in other words. So yeah, we were fortunate to have Shakil join us. He was one to have scouted Sahal at a uh, very young age. Okay, and even when everyone would write Sahal off and say he wouldn't go on to be what he is today, with all respect, but there was something that this guy did see in him. Okay, and he just had a feeling that this guy has something in him, and he will become a star one day. So that's when Shakil discussed Sahal with us, and when Shakil became a part of us, obviously he's as good as I am. Basically, there is no difference amongst each other. We work with each other at Inventive Sports. We work to support each other, and that's the best thing about us, and that's why we've been together for so many years, I would say. Okay, we've been so strong here. So yes, Sahal and then Jobby and so many other Indian players came in. So that's how things started, and I've always believed, that the process of learning never stops. Now, yes, and even if it's been 4 or 5 years that I'm in the industry, every day is a new day for me. Every day is a new day to learn, grow, and evolve. That's what I've always believed in. I learned so many other things from players. I learned so many other things from clients, from people that I'm having a conversation with, from so many other journalists, so many other people I interact with. So I'm just grateful, for the gift of learning. Basically, I've always been a person who's been open to feedback and learning. There have been instances where even I have made mistakes, where even I have fumbled at times, but I've never taken that as a slap on my back. I've taken that as learning, as a process where I could reflect and see what went wrong, what did I not do right, and how I could correct and work and improvise on all those. So yes, I've been just thankful, and not just that. Okay, also I've been thankful for the support that I have at home, my family that has been backing me, and helping me be strong. So thankful for everything. In short, if I would say.
That's actually an incredible journey. Just from being a passionate individual, then the two pieces of advice from Steven Dias, and then bringing the vision of doing something in Indian football to life and actually working it. So that's an incredible journey that you just briefly mentioned over there. So my next question is something that you briefly touched upon. It's basically what does a day look like in your life? A day in the life of a sports agent per se. So what is the work like, and what is the day-to-day activity that you have to take care of? What are some of the technical things that are there? So that would be interesting for us to know. Can you share a bit light on that as well?
Well, to be very honest, a sports agent, a life of a sports agent, a day is never planned. Okay, a person, a sports agent basically would be working 24/7, working 24/7 for his clients, for his players. It's not that he's someone who would just take calls between 9 and 6 and all that thing. No, it doesn't work that way. Works right from 10 in the morning till I think 2 in the night. So that is a typical life of a sports agent. So it's not just working and brokering deals or etc. It's about speaking in your network, speaking to your clients, your peers, your so many other things. So if I have to just give you in short, I wake up on a very good note. Once I'm done with my breakfast, etc. I'll I'll listen to a little bit of music, or maybe just scroll through Twitter and just check my messages, etc. That is the typical life how I would start, and then I would plan my day. What I got to do, how I got to follow up, what needs to be done, etc. And then I'll just make notes basically on my phone. Just open the notes page and just keep typing things, what needs to be done, so on and so forth. If any meetings, any Zoom calls, or any phone calls that have been made, I'll just make a note of so that I don't forget. I'll just make sure that I spare about an hour and a half for my daily workout. That's mandatory for me because it's very important. So I just spare that time for myself. Then apart from that, doing a few other things, as in I also have a job, etc. So managing a few things here and there. I am a person who keeps juggling between everything, but at the same time, I'm ensured that whatever job is at hand, it's completely done. Even if it takes an hour extra, no problem, no hustle about it, go slow, but just ensure the work is done to perfection. So uh, and if in case I stumble at any point of time and I need some help or something, I don't hesitate to approach, even if I am small or I am big, or I don't have that mentality. For me, it's very straight. If I need help, I just approach someone, rather than making a mistake. When you have that, you get an intuition that maybe you just want to reconfirm, or maybe you want to recheck, or you want to just take some advice. I wouldn't hesitate. I would already be doing that. So that's a typical life for me. Start, as I said, juggling between my other job, a few other phone calls, few work here and there, to yes, to a little bit of time with family, etc. So yes, there's a lot that happens throughout the day. The days are not easy. At times during the season, also when we're not now, this is the off season time, when this is the typical time when we are looking at signing contracts and getting deals over the line. But during the season, we as agents also need to make sure that we are up to date with everything that is happening in the industry, right from watching each and every game to seeing what our clients are doing, how they're progressing, and keeping a tab of everything. So it also means to helping our clients in their day-to-day life. Okay, uh, it doesn't for us, like we don't just look at giving services to our client just as in getting them a contract, signing the contract, and our work is done. No, we as an agency, we as a company, we as an individual, as a person, we look at servicing our client 360, and that also means looking after them throughout each and every day. So even if it matters, dropping them a message, checking on them, how they're doing, is everything going well with them, if in case there is anything that they need, any support, if they need any help, be it with their shopping, be it with their during off season, if in case they have to plan their vacation, or maybe if in case they want to go on for a strength and conditioning rehab or something. There are certain things that we have, so many things that we have done with players, who have asked for extra support in terms of having an extra preseason done during the off season so that they are ready um, for the preseason, etc. So there's a lot that happens as a sports agent. Life's not easy, but being, as I said, being grateful with all the learning and all the experience, we've been going strong with it.
So the basic assumption of any person who looks at a sports agent life is that look at them, they are always talking with some player, or they are on the field, and they do some cool activities and all that. So for a lot of people, that is the basic motivation to basically be interested in this field. I wanted to understand from you, like, is that the correct way to think about it? Is that the correct motivation to have, just that you will be around players and talk to players and all those things?
See, the sports and media industry, it does look a lot of glamour on the outside, okay, but one needs to understand it is not what it is on the inside. Okay, there is a lot of hard work, a lot of hustle, a uh, uh, lot of hours that have been put on the phone calls, emails, and so on and so forth. Now, like I said to you, for an example, it's very easy to say, like, Sahal, probably just a very easy example, a Sahal that he's become a superstar today. Maybe he's just gone, he's practiced, he's this. But if someone would have looked at Sahal about 4 years ago, no one would have said that he would be an international. He would be playing for his country at an international level. Okay, so I have seen him. I have seen the skate progress. Okay, right from nothing to what he is right now. From a person who used to eat a lot of burgers and fries and everything, all on the pizzas and all the stuff, to making sacrifices to even if I tell him, like I remember one instance, when he was in Bombay, Bombay for a camp. Okay, he had come in. He was there for a couple of days. He was staying at the Marriott, and I just said to him, like, since I'm Bombay based, I just mentioned to him, I'll come down to see you. I'll see you. We'll probably go out for dinner. I mean, dinner or lunch or dinner during the next day, and he said, "No, bhai." His typical words, "No, bhai. I want this. I won't want to cheat on my meal or my diet or anything as such." So you see the level of dedication. Okay, so dedication that kid has in him. Then I said, okay, let's catch up for a coffee. You probably catch up with a black coffee, not an issue. I understand. Again, you'd have issues because that was during the season time. Okay, that was a typical season time. He had come in. There was a national camp that was happening in Mumbai. Okay, so he was there in Andheri, and that's when he said, no, bhai, I would not even. So that's when we met. We caught up for a cup of coffee, and yeah, that's a typical, that like I want to say, the sports media, there's a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice that goes behind, that's happening behind the doors. It's not just about the glamour and everything, like I said to you earlier, but yes, it is that, and one needs to understand that.
That actually clears a lot of things for us. Okay, so does being a sports agent, does it involve that you have to be a part of the scouting also, looking for hunting for talents and everything? Does that involve in your profile?
Yes, 100%. We always have our eyes open onto new talent, aspiring talent, etc. So we have our eyes open. Also, we have a close group of network that we work with. We also keep watching. Like, if you ask me, a typical person who wouldn't like to miss any game in Indian football, be it an Indian Super League game or an I League game. There have been days where even I've had shouts from my mom. At times where back to back I would watch 3 or 4 games a day. So that is a person I am, probably. There have been instances like that. So if in case I missed on a game, probably I would go on to read the match report, etc. See what each and every player has done. Apart from that, I also look in the data side of things of players. I literally look at their data, their each and every, like I am very competent on using tools like Scout and Instat, etc. So I look at so many other aspects of the player, and try to understand where you get a feeling. You try and understand when you watch a player, where the player, what route that player is going, how that player will be in the next few years if he's given game, if he's, you know whatever he aspire to be. So yes, that is what it is. Eyes and hands are always open, to welcome new talent. And if we feel that he's the right move, yes, 100%. 100%. We're all guns. Sometimes it is that the asset does reach out to us. Sometimes we reach out to the asset. So that's how it is. It always keeps going in circles.
So my next question is actually something that most of the people who are watching would want to know. Is the basic question: how does one become a sports agent? Like, what is the starting point? Where should one begin just to enter into this field if they want to pursue this career?
To be very honest, see, back in days, there was an exam that used to happen for to qualify for a sports agent, just like how you have your other degrees and other courses, etc. You needed to have an exam back in the days, okay, but not anymore. Right now, you just need to be up to date in the system. You need to be knowing what you're doing. You need to be knowing your circle. You need to be knowing your players, etc. And apart from that, you need to be registered with the AIFF as well. There's a registration process that happens on an annual basis where you have a license and you got to be renewing your intermediary license. So that's one thing. But it's not a difficult process to become an agent, yeah. But yes, to begin, it's really going to be difficult. It's not easy, and at times you even feel like you want to quit, you want to give up, and um, there was once or twice there was a thought, where you just want to give up, you want to quit. There are bad days, but you have to be consistent, you have to be strong. As I said, earlier, you got to be very thick skinned being in this industry. There will be bad days and there'll be really very bad days, okay? So to deal with it, it's not easy. And yeah, so I feel it's not an easy not a difficult task to be an agent. If you know your football, if you know your sport, you know your game, you know what is happening in the four walls of your in the industry, you know the players, you have a good network of clients, good network of people in the club, etc. So yes, I think it's not difficult at all.
So I think that answered most of our viewers' questions over here. I also wanted to just briefly understand from you, like, how is the Indian market in the sports agent football industry different? from the foreign, suppose a European market. So how would you differentiate between the two?
See, if you ask me now, the Indian market is getting a bit inflated at the moment. Okay, given the current regulations, of having four international players on the pitch and having seven starting players. Okay, with the foreigners count reducing. So obviously, the demand for certain players in certain positions, certain national team players, their cost would be inflated at the moment. Where to be very honest, if I was to say, you're probably in that same money you would get a very very good foreigner who maybe 2 seasons ago would have played in the La Liga or the La Liga 2. Okay, 2 seasons ago. So when I'm saying that, I mean, like, someone who's around 33, 34, maybe someone with that level of experience. Okay, and we've had profiles like that come down to India and play. All right. So if you're looking at that, the market is inflated at times. It's completely situation based, depending what you have and how you have and what you want to do. At times, a club also has to look at, what they actually have, what resources do they actually have, and what is like the missing piece in the puzzle, and if they have to go and fix that missing piece, that, they might even have to go to an extent of spending a crore, okay, to get that missing element. Like, to give you a very fair example, this is what RCB did when they got in Glenn Maxwell. Okay, you very much aware because you've been in the cricket industry, right? You've been associated with cricket industry. So yeah, that is what RCB did. They had very good openers, they had very good players in between, but what they needed is had a missing element, so they went all out to go and get Glenn Maxwell, because they thought he is that missing element, he is that player that they need, and provided they have a player of his quality, they would have success. And yes, it's not that it wasn't right. They were thinking right until we seen that the IPL stopped. They were in the top half of the table. They were doing well. I think they've just lost a game or two, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so that is how the football industry is as well. At times, you would be getting a certain player at a very low price, a certain player at a very inflated price. But yeah, that is the industry for you.
So, from a career perspective, do you think the sports agent, becoming a sports agent, is just going to the top future opportunities is just going to grow from here on, or it's just going to be a similar flat line, or how do you see this career from here on?
100%. 100%. See, I do see growth in this industry. This industry will keep on growing. It will keep on evolving, and certainly, every agent also will keep on growing. It's not that we'll be restricted to a certain amount of clients. We are always, as I said, we're always open to new clients. We're always open to seeing what's available in the market. We also do collaborate with certain agents abroad, to get quite a few international players, etc. So we're always, if you see a typical sports agent would be more on his phone or more on his laptop. That's a typical agent, and that's what he's doing. He's networking. He's just trying to see what's available, how he can do. Maybe if option A is not available, option B, option C, option D. So that it's the process never stops. Okay, today you may have a certain option, tomorrow you may have an even better option. Tomorrow you have, day after tomorrow you'd have an even more better option. So that is how the industry is for you, and we're always open. We're always researching. We're always speaking to different agents, speaking to different clients, speaking to see how we can network, and that's how the industry is.
So I know you have mentioned this thing throughout the course of this session, that what skills basically you require to become a sports agent or to excel in this field. So you mentioned like learning, and you mentioned networking and all those things, and you have to be a thick-skinned person. So just to sum it up, what would you say are the top three skills or something that people should have if you want to become a sports
See, number one, you gotta understand what your job is. You gotta take responsibility and accountability of everything that you're gonna be doing. Okay, because it's not just about your athlete. It's not about your asset. It's not about what you're doing. It's about the job that is at stake. It's about so many other factors. Okay, it's because you need to also understand. Okay, you the athlete that you're also representing at the same time is your face. Okay, when I say that, okay, I mean to say, like, tomorrow your athlete does well, your asset does well, you do well as along with it. Okay, so number one is you got to be taking accountability of everything. You got to be responsible of every damn thing that transpires. Number two, you got to be honest. You got to be understanding. You got to be very patient. All these factors do matter a lot. Uh, and the number three, I would say, you got to be very thick skinned. Like I said to you earlier in the start, you got to be very thick skinned, because there will be good days, there will be bad days, there will be days in between. And you got to survive. You got to go for it, and you got to be strong. So I think these are like the three most important qualities that's needed to be a sports agent or anything as such. But all in all, you got to be understanding your job. You got to be knowing what you're doing. You got to be knowing your industry. You got to be knowing what's happening within the four walls, etc. So that's in a nutshell for you.
Thanks a lot. So that concludes all my questions actually, and this session it has been very helpful. I mean, it's a lot of learning from me as well. So thanks a lot, Wilbur. Thanks a lot for giving us your time, spending some time, and sharing your knowledge with us.
It's my pleasure, Shaurya. No problem at all. See, if I can be of any help to in any capacity, please let me know. I'm just a phone call away. And I wish you the best. We'll be in touch soon, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you so much.